Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back from a brand new video on the last SPFL game of the season as we look to wrap up the game and wrap up the season in style while preparing for what is to come on Wednesday night. And the best thing you can say about that performance away at Tynecastle versus Hearts' first team as we wrapped that bad boy like we were the guy at the chippy people. There was no spaces, no creases, the heat was contained and we absolutely fed them the frickin' dinner. Because, I mean, the best song that was sung this afternoon by the Rangers faithful was You're Getting Pumped by the B team, and that right there that song represents that performance perfectly because that was the B team, that was Hearts' first team, and we just went after them for the first whistle to the last, and they looked like there was levels to this game, people, and that will obviously be a massive confidence blow for them because going into the game when I saw the starting 11s I was like that could give them the edge even though they are playing against the B team. If they beat us this afternoon they'll take that into next week, but just think of the psychological warfare that we have just won right there, putting that team out and having that dominant performance, especially as we made more subs because despite us saying it's the B team, you obviously still had Scott Arfield, Aaron Ramsey and Stephen Davis in there. Three very, very good players in the outfield, but again they needed to obviously get that wee bit of mark sharpness, a wee bit more stamina in the legs ahead of a possible appearance on Wednesday night. But even after they came off, it was still the Rangers show and it was still the Alex Lowry show, who just continues to build upon build his impressive resume already at Rangers with now yet another start, another assist, and then he's just sprinkled on the top here an unbelievable finish versus the player of the year in Scotland by the name of Craig Gordon. Aye, it was a successful afternoon, an exciting afternoon. And there's a hell of a lot to talk about. Because let's be honest with you, regarding the season and where we wanted to go, now we never achieved what we wanted in terms of the league campaign. Was this game a dead rubber now? Yes, it pretty much was. But again, there was still a lot to play for in terms of the two individual teams battling each other mentally ahead of a cup final. And I thought the way we started the game with the starting 11 we had was absolutely sensational. That was boys. It was out there wanting to fight for their jersey. There was nobody just seeing it out or anything like that. No, everyone was singing to the same tune, everyone was going about their business, and in the opening 10-15 minutes you're thinking, right, we're well and truly in this. And that in itself was impressive, people, because I've told you in the past, I hate normally when our first team goes and plays at Tynecastle. I mean, I've hated playing at Tynecastle that much. I didn't even like going to the time capsule anymore. That's my hatred for playing over there and some of the silly points and silly games we threw away. But positive. But where I was just starting to feel comfortable in the game with Aaron Ramsey creating an opportunity for Scotty Arfield, which of course he blast straight at the goalkeeper, it started to just swing the other way a little bit as Barry Mackay started to get on the ball and started to dictate play. One where he tried to thread, in fact he did thread a beautiful pass in behind the Rangers defence for Gary Mackay-Steven. But shout out to Little John. We've obviously got Big John, who's the best on earth, but we've also got Little John, people, a wee bit of Halloween kills going on right now as Little John McLaughlin comes out there with his feet. Beautiful slide challenge, better than some of the challenges we've put in defensively this season to stop that counter-attack, stop that worry. And I thought, right, we've got away with one there. Little John saved her. Let's get back on the ball now, young Rangers side, and start getting back at it. But unfortunately, we never really was able to do that because 1 minute, 2 minutes after John McLaughlin done that fantastic 1v1 slide challenge on Gary Mackay-Steven, the ball gets hit down the right-hand side for Sims. I believe it's Sands that's chasing after him, and to be fair, Sims, he's a big physical player. He throws Sands about like an empty tracksuit, gets his head up, pulls it back to Peter Haring, who just runs away for Scotty Arfield. And I'm sure Arfield will be very, very disappointed with his positioning here. But again, taking nothing away from the actual finish, it's spectacular. Aye, Hearts lead 1-0 despite a promising start for the Rangers B team. And you just thought to yourself, right, we've not always had the greatest record recently at Tynecastle. We're one behind. We've not got the big boys on now. What game is this actually going to be? But I think this period in the game is actually very underrated and very underappreciated going forward because that told you a lot about these young laddies, alright? Because when you're playing at home and you're a couple of goals up and you come on and you start sparkling and beating people and skilling and everything like that, that's great. But can you do it when you're away versus a tough team playing their best players 1-0 down after 24 minutes in the game? And the answer is yes, especially when it comes to Alex Lowry, who continued, no matter the score or what was happening in the game, to play his way, and that is chest out Barry Ferguson style, and I'll be the guy this afternoon. And after 10-15 more minutes of us digging in and trying a couple of things, we got that eventual attack that eventually led to a goal. And it's no surprise Alex Lowry's involved with it, Aaron Ramsey's involved with it. The ball eventually finds its way to Mr. Diallo, who was getting his start, and he's just forward, positivity. It gets the ball out to the right hand side to big Cedric Itten, Swiss Bliss himself was starting in this game. And what I love here is, wasn't he having a good game first 30 minutes? And to be fair, I don't think we really played to his strengths yet again. Story of it in seasons at Rangers Football Club. But this time he gets the ball down, cuts inside, forces Craig Gordon into a very good save, and then from that direct corner, Alex Lowry jogs over. Lowry is taking this set piece over Stephen Davis and Aaron frickin' Ramsey. I don't know how that young laddie can run with stones that size. Imagine having that confidence to tell Stephen Davis and Aaron Ramsey, no lads, I've got the corner. Sensational for the wee man just to have that confidence in him. The boys put in, drops it right on a dime, an in-swinging corner. Thank you, Lord above. And Big Ced does what he does. And go back and look at his movement here, because I think it's easy just to say, oh, it's poor marking for Hearts. No, the reason it's poor marking is Cedric fakes to go back. It gets the defender to come in, collides with his own player, and then Cedric bursts into the open space. It's classic centre forward play when you're used to the ball being in the air, and Cedric does what he does when the ball's in the air, buries it, brings us back into the game, and we're on our way. And after we brought it back level, or some might say 1-0 to Rangers, because does the first one count? Not really in my book. But anyway, after getting back into the game, it became the Rangers show again. Balls getting nice in, Ramsey combining with Diallo combining with Lowry, wee bits, nearlies, maybes, and then in the 44th minute we nearly took the leads in the game after a devastating counter-attack driven by Diallo. As it gets fouled originally from a corner, but again he's used to the physicality now, he's no surprise, jumps right back up, stays alert, flicks it by someone, finds Ramsey, gorgeous little reverse pass, and Diallo takes a touch beyond the defender, tries to rattle it near post, but hits it just over the bar. You're thinking to yourself, damn, what a goal that would have been. Imagine if we were able to take this team in 2-1 up at Tynecastle. Well, despite us missing that in the 44th minute, there was still a wee bit of added time before the end of the half. And for once, people, we didn't do that fannying about, passing it side by side. We actually attacked in the last minute of extra time. How many games? How many times have we sat here and complained that we didn't do that? Well, the youngsters drove on and kept attacking till half time, and they got the rewards. And what I really love about this goal is it starts for the defensive side of one who was honestly running about like a Ginger Philip Lamb this afternoon, just everywhere at every time, and always done the simple but effective stuff. And he nips the ball in. I think he gets beyond Gary Mackay-Friesen, if I'm remembering that correctly, finds Aaron Ramsey, who again just instinctively hits it out to Alex Lowry. And then what he does here, man, I'm not even going to give it any justice, but I'll try for you watching today's video. It gets the ball, gallops towards the box, we fake shimmy inside, fakes it, brings it into his foot, and with barely any backlift, tucks it beyond Craig Gordon. Craig Gordon, who's won Player of the Year or whatever the hell he won. He's had a phenomenal campaign in between the sticks, but Alex Lowry sat him down and literally roasted him here. What a goal. The composure, Messi-esque, dare I say. And Rangers were now 2-1 up at half time. But it's got to be said, before the Rangers B team / youth side continued their galloping in to the future, we had some moments from Hearts where it nearly got a bit nervous, and it's especially okay doing for Barry Mackay, who again looked head and shoulders their best player. And for me, after obviously being a big fan of him all these years ago, and kind of seeing his career kind of go like this and this and this, and not really finding a spot where he was able to be the main man, I think now that he's got that at Hearts and he's got the responsibility, he looks a hell of a lot more comfortable, and he looks like he relishes that role, and his final product is a hell of a lot better, because the amount of times he slipped it in behind their defence before James Sand was taking the ball from a Leon King, who was down at the left back, was playing very well as well. He was kind of the driving force for them, and he nearly got them right back into the game with a ridiculous, that's right, I said that word, I combined it, people, as he does a couple of keepy uppies with his knees, then he rattles a half volley that just goes there the bar, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, and then I was screaming, oh no, a second later as he runs beyond, is it Stephen Davis? He skips behind Stephen Davis. Nice little 1-2, but his shot is deflected wide by James Sands. But aye, Barry McKay's shown his quality once again as he's continued to improve year upon year. But before I get to some more attacking highlights and discuss a couple of subs, I want to give a wee special shout out to Devlin, who I thought was fantastic over this period when Hearts were growing in to the game. Every single time the ball came down that left hand side for Gary Mackay, Stephen, it just got battered and handled. And shout out to Andy Devlin, honestly, putting the type of performance that has me thinking that Everton will be licking their lips, getting the chequebook out, willing to spend 16 million. So Devlin can go and play in the reserves. But moving away from that little dig at Everton, we move on to another triple sub by Rangers Football Club. This time it was Cole McKinnon, Mr. McCausland, who I've got a lot of good memories now of playing Football Manager, and if you remember all those times. But also so did Jack Simpson. Come on, I was like, oh, there he is. And they came on for Amad Diallo, by the way, Aaron Ramsey and Mr. Leon Balogun, 3 players that could potentially be involved in Wednesday in some capacity, probably all 3 from the actual bench. But I think the injection of energy and drive in the middle of the park helped us regain control of the game and helped us back in it, because just a few minutes after that triple substitution, Cedric Itten, who, I don't know about you, started off the game poor, couple of bouncy touches, nothing really sticking to him. But after he scored, it was almost like, right, I've got that off my back now. I can just do what I can do. And for me, I thought he was brilliant with a couple of his challenges, getting stuck in, he's holding the play up. And in the 70th minute, he does brilliant work here to find Charlie McCann inside the box. And Charlie fake shots too, the way very similar if you go back to, remember Sakala not too long ago when he does all the hard work and then hits it a mile wide? Aye, it's a carbon copy. Charlie McCann in, beats too, just needs to hit the target, but unfortunately snatches / falls at the exact same time, because it was nearly a dream moment for the young man. But there was, thankfully, another dream moment in the game of football as we moved it to 3-1 up now away at Tynecastle. And wee McCausland on that right hand side, honestly looked like what he was doing in Football Manager those years ago, beating people, opening people up, curving it in to the ball. And now, I'm saying he's created here and he's done very well when he has done, people, but what McKinnon does here is absolutely stupid, because this is a bouncing ball at his feet where he doesn't once look at the goal, it just turns, swivels and hits it, and again beats a goalkeeper of Craig Gordon, giving him absolutely no chance. No wonder that young man won Academy Player of the Year. He's absolutely frightening, and not once did he look out of place this afternoon. And if he's able to bring that type of finishes, we'll be hearing his name a hell of a lot more in the future. Sensational goals for the Rangers young team as they're cutting about here, looking like the class in 92. And aye, that's kind of it for the game of football. We finally got to see young Tony Weston, who, if you followed over the years on the channel, we've spoke a lot about him. Guy with a high potential, scored 38 goals, but as you can see, he's still a young lad who's growing in and everything like that, needs to get a wee bit bigger, a wee bit more stronger or something like that. But even he got very, very close with a header and everything like that. Still encouraging signs for the future. And the last highlight I can think of the top of my head, sorry if I've missed anything, was a Sybil long shot that was very well saved by Little John in the goals. And that's game, set and match. It was a bona fide pumping for the Rangers B team, and I genuinely couldn't be more enthused by the future of this football club, because not one of them that came in to a high pressure versus the team that finished third in this league with their strongest team available looked out of place. That's probably the best compliment you can actually give the young laddies, as they've still got a ways to go. And I'm not saying all of them need to come in, but they all showed sun, and led by Alex Lowry, who for me, again, doesn't ever come out this Rangers team, especially when you talk about domestic competitions. That's a guy that's in there now, and that's it for a few years. Sometimes you can just see it. Sometimes you can look at a player and say, aye, that's it. The young laddie's it. And he's only going to get better. So aye, that's it. That's the last league reaction of the season, people. If you are still watching, because I know there's not much hype right now as they're all looking at Europa League. But if you are watching this video, make sure you let me know your opinions down in the comment section below. Who stood out to you? And if you didn't mind, as the wee man got a goal, assist and a yellow card this afternoon, if you could summarise Alex Lowry's performance in one word, What would it be? Scroll down, that would be cool to see just everyone's thoughts and opinions. But aye, that's it now, people. The next video you see of me will be on Tuesday, talking about a European frickin' final. Do you know what I mean, man? Honestly, I'll see you on Tuesday, everybody. Take care of yourselves. All the best. I've been Sieging over 92. But knacker after that. Take it easy and bye-bye.